Hello, welcome to Arriving at Nineveh. Today we'll be talking about Mary as the new Ark of the Covenant. Why is it important that we consider Mary as the new Ark of the Covenant? Well, that comes down to two things. One, it gives a justification as to why we as Catholics revere her so much. And secondly, it gives a partial justification as to why we believe her to be immaculately conceived. As in the previous video, I'm going to be looking at Mary typologically. So what was the Ark of the Old Covenant? Well, other than the fact that it's what Indiana Jones was looking for, it's also one of the holiest relics of the Jews. God commanded them to make it. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell in their midst. It was a wooden box, gilded with gold, with two cherubim on top. God was very precise in telling Moses how he wanted the ark built. See Exodus 25-30. The passage reads like an instruction manual, but it's God reading out the instructions. The ark was so holy that only the high priest could enter it, and even then, only once a year. No one else could even touch the ark. Now, inside the ark were three sacred items: the stone tablets of the commandments, or the word of God in stone, the staff of Aaron, the symbol of the high priest, and a golden jar containing the manna, the bread that came down from heaven to feed the Jews. Once the ark was completed, the Shekinah, or the glory cloud of the Lord, overshadowed the Holy of Holies. It signified God's presence with the Jews. So what does all of this have to do with Mary? Well, Jesus in the New Testament brings the Old Testament to perfection. Where in the Old Testament, the Word of God was made of stone, Jesus is the Word made flesh. Where Aaron was the Old Testament high priest, Jesus is the eternal high priest. See the book of Hebrews. Where the manna was the bread from heaven, Jesus is the living bread which came down from heaven. Jesus is Emmanuel, God among us. And Jesus, not just the presence of God, but God Himself was in Mary, the Ark of the New Covenant. You can find even more connections of Mary as the Ark in Luke's account of the Visitation and its links to David and the Ark in the second book of Samuel. The Ark traveled to Obed-Edom in the hill country of Judea. Mary traveled to Elizabeth and Zechariah in the hill country of Judea. Dressed as a priest, David danced and leapt in front of the Ark. John the Baptist, from a line of priests, leapt in his mother's womb as Mary approached. David asks, "How can the ark of the Lord come to me?" Elizabeth asks, "Why is this granted me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" And the typological links go on and on. And the final link to Mary as the new Ark of the Covenant comes in the book of Revelation. This gets a little nerdy. In chapter 11, St. John writes something shocking for a Jew from the first century. The Ark had been lost for 600 years, and now he announces, "Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and the Ark of His covenant was seen within His temple." Then the chapter ends, but he doesn't continue his discourse on the Ark. He starts talking about a woman clothed in the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child. The woman is facing a red dragon that wanted to devour her child when she brought it forth. He continues, "She brought forth a male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, but her child was caught up to God and to His throne." The child is obviously Jesus, the dragon, Satan, and the woman can be no one else other than Mary. But what does this have to do with the ark in the previous chapter? You see, chapter divisions were only later added to the Bible around the 12th century. So when St. John originally wrote the passage, it looked like this. "Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and the ark of His covenant was seen within His temple. And there were flashes of lightning, loud noises, peals of thunder, an earthquake, and heavy hail. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun." Mary is the new Ark of the Covenant. While the old ark held the presence of God, the new ark contained God Himself. While the old ark was revered and kept in the Holy of Holies, how much more holy and revered must Mary be because God was actually inside her? And if God made the old ark with such exact and perfect precision, then how much more perfect must the new ark be to contain him? Bishop Fulton Sheen asked, if you had the chance to make your own mother, wouldn't you want to make her perfect? Well, that's exactly what God did. He made her perfect, without sin. And that's why we call her the Immaculate Conception.